I think we're back.
We are.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm fine. Every time. Welcome back. It's Book Chats with Mostly Books. I'm Jody.
I'm Jen.
Tonight we are talking about His Hideous Sight with Heart.
I was like, where'd that come from?
His Hideous Heart. Which was edited by Dahlia Adler and is a compilation of many authors of Edgar Allen Poe retellings. But
Edgar Allen Poe.
This is going to be a night. I hope we're all ready for this.
I like Edgar Allen Poe, though.
I don't even know where that came from. And take two. Jen, why don't you talk for a while?
So we're discussing His Hideous Heart by Dahlia Adler. It's a YA anthology of Edgar Allen Poe retellings, reimaginings. And we're gonna...
That was way better.
We're gonna go through them. And talk about, like, I guess what the original stories are and then what it's based off of. Did we like it? Did we not like it? I can't really give a plot summary, so I'm filling in other stuff.
I think that was fine.
Yeah.
So,
do you want to go in order, or do you want to do favorites?
Okay, well, first off, I want to say I did appreciate that most of, like, our favorite Edgar Allan Poe... favorite Edgar Allan Poe... I don't know what's happening.
I shouldn't have said anything now. It's just going to be every single time.
Anyway, they are in here. We have, The Fall of the House of Usher. We have The Raven. We have Annabelle Lee. We have cast of Amontillado. I mean, they hit a lot of the big ones. So that was really great. And then they pulled out random ones that I had forgotten about or was completely unaware of.
Yeah, this one we didn't even heard of.
There's the first one that I'd not heard of at all.
Metzengerstein.
Yeah,
I can only remember it if I'm looking at it.
I'm so glad you said it. I think we should start with first. Did you have a favorite?
Kind of, yeah. I think I did.
Which one's your favorite?
I really liked... Oh, wait, maybe I didn't have a favorite. Oh, no. I really liked Annabelle Lee. It was very full of, like, lyrical and full of longing, and, yeah, that one's about the yearning.
Yeah.
Which I appreciated. I liked The Raven once I saw it in the book.
We will come back to that one, yes.
Because I did an audiobook for this one, and you read the physical book, so.
Yeah, maybe we should just do it now. But I literally said, Jen, no, you have to go look at the book.
Yeah.
And you kept being like, I know, it's a poem. And I was like, no, you don't get it. You have to go look at the book. Do you want to show them?
Sure.
And I guess we should say there's probably going to be spoilers from the get-go tonight. Because how do we not spoil short stories?
Yeah.
Sorry, come back and do this after you've read this. Because it'll be fun.
Oh, wait, I'm looking at the original tales, not the actual one. I was like,
sorry, I put Jen on the spot.
I'm like, why is it this far in the book? This doesn't make sense. Okay. So, The Raven is done with the original text, and then it's a blackout poem.
It's like all redacted.
So,
Victor-esque.
Yeah, it's like what Victor did to his parents' motivational books.
From the Vicious V. Schwab series.
Yep.
I was squealing when I saw that, actually, because I was like, ugh.
Yeah, I didn't
But then it was really hard to read.
Yeah, because when I heard it, I was like, oh, I get it. There's some similar words. I'm like, that makes sense because it's a remix, but I had no idea it was done like that.
Yeah, so really cool, like, seeing it. Really challenging to kind of read it because you had to really, like, find those little tiny letters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any other favorites?
I liked The Oval Filter. I like that one. I liked Drop of Stolen Ink. Yeah. And
I like you to think about that.
Well, because I remember I was reading it, and some of these, like, I don't remember how they ended, even though I did read them.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about that. And
yep.
I liked Murders in the Rue Apartel. Okay, that one I liked a lot. That was a lot of fun to listen to. How about you?
I think my favorite was Red, but I want to say why in a second because I have another question for you, but we'll come back to that. So I really liked Red. I also really liked, which one was it? Oh, The Glittering Death. I liked a lot. That one's kind of haunted me, honestly, since I read that one. I kind of liked Lygia. Ligia. I thought that ending was we need to talk about.
We need to talk about the ending because that's the one ending I was just like, what? I don't.
I think I literally was like, what too? But not that I didn't remember. More of what? I think those were my favorites. Not that I didn't like the other ones. Mm-hmm. Oh wait, I also liked, and I think you said this one as well, the oval filter. I liked that one a lot too.
Yeah.
So my other question is, did you think there was one story that really captured the Poe essence more than others?
And this,
I said Poe.
No, you did, but now I'm laughing.
Essence more than the others, and this isn't like a trick question by any means. This is just, did you?
They each kind of did in their own way. Mm-hmm. Like, She Rode a Horse of Fire, like, the first one felt very, like, the same kind of historical tone as the Poe short stories. But then, like, Annabelle Lee had, like, the same longing in it. So, like, there's different, like, each story kind of, like, picked up on its own thing that did well. I don't know if I could pick just one to be like, this one did best. More than the others. Yeah.
I'm going to disagree.
That's fair.
I think Red did.
See, that's the one I was kind of like, I don't know. I didn't.
But I think I'm also biased.
Because you really like this story. You were in a Red Mask of Death for Halloween last year.
I was. Yeah. So I needless to say, I really liked the Mask of the Red Death. And I loved that we still got all the rooms and everything. But yeah, I definitely agree that each author picked something, like a specific quality, and really, like, brought new life to some of these stories, it felt like. I kind of wished at the end, when they did the author bios, that they would have also done, like, what their inspiration was, or why they chose the short story they did choose, or just even how they went about reimagining this, just because I was curious.
I think the, like, 1,000 Beginnings and Endings anthology that we read ages ago.
Yeah.
Did that, so it's like each author kind of explained, like, which Asian, like, folktale or fairy tale or myth they picked, and they're like, I did it this way because it reminded me of this, and it's like, really cool.
I really would have liked that, like a little intro or something. I also, this is maybe nitpicky of me, so in the book, it's split in half. So the first half of the book are the reimaginations, and the last half are the original tales. I really wish they would have done the reimagination, then the original tale, reimagination, just because that's how I ended up reading it. Just because I was curious, like,
you want to do, like, side by side.
Yeah, like, how was the adaptation done? Yeah. That's just being nitpicky.
I read it straight through because I didn't want to, like, jump around in the audio tracks and then, like,
that would have been hard.
Get lost. So that's the only reason I didn't do it that way.
Yeah. Towards the end, I think I started reading them more straight through and then just reading the last half, but that was out of laziness and not. I mean, anyway, it's fine.
You have a thing with short stories.
Not wanting to, turn to the pages. It was just silliness. So, what did you think? Like, were you happy overall? How did you feel about this book?
Okay, this sounds really weird. I expected more fantasy elements, even though there were fantasy stories.
Yeah, they were there, just not overwhelmingly there.
Yeah, because we talked about this, and we're like, wait, this one had monsters, this one was sci-fi, this one had nanotech, this one had this, and we're like, wait a minute, yeah, we just didn't pay attention.
So when you add it all up, you're like, oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah. So I did like that. I liked, especially the stories I was familiar with, I could pick out. I'm like, oh, that's where this is going, or you can see, like, how it works. I guess that's the fun part of it, if you've read Poe. If you've not read Poe, I think they're still fun, kind of creepy short stories.
You'd still really like them, I think.
Especially the oval filter. I thought that one, like, worked really well.
I think all of them, if you didn't realize they were Poe reimaginations, you'd still really enjoy.
Yeah. Just taking, like, a portrait, the oval portrait, and now it's an Instagram filter.
I think we'll have to go back to that one.
Yeah, I did like that
one. As you said, I have problems with short stories. I don't know.
I'm surprised I said it first.
I know, right? I'm rubbing off on you. Anyway, I liked it. It was just, as always, short stories are too short, and I always want to be more immersed into the world. And so I do sometimes struggle switching back and forth. And I will say the way I read it, because I did the YA reimagination and then the Poe, that almost was a little more jarring. So you probably should really heed the editor's advice and read it the way it is, you'd probably enjoy it more, because it was sort of just weird when you'd go from the languages. Mm-hmm. So it's just so much slower and more detailed in a different way for Poe than the YA. The YAs are so much more fast paced. Like, let's get to it.
Yeah, and it's a short story, so they really have to get to it.
Yeah, whereas sometimes I felt like the Poe stories, he's much more in his head and talking about it in much more detail. Mm-hmm. Not that that's bad. It was just very jarring when you're flipping back and forth. Heed the editor. Go with the way they wrote it. Or bound it. Okay, shall we go...
What was the Happy Days, Sweetheart story?
The Happy Days?
Yeah, it's after the Stolen Ink nanotech one and before the Raven poem.
Oh, let me see what the one was referenced. What's the Poe version? I tended to...
Telltale Heart. Oh,
I was like, I tend to remember them better based on which one it was reimagined.
Yeah, because it says the title, like, at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's in the audiobook. It says at the beginning, and then I forget it by the end of the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to go short story to short story? Do you want to just start with our top favorites, because we may not get to everything? Let's start with our top favorites, maybe. Okay, you want to start with Oval Portrait and go more into that one?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead. Kick us off. Who's it written by?
Lamar Giles? I've seen his name before, but I don't think I've ever read.
I hadn't read anything before.
Of his. So Tariq is like high school football star. He's recovering from an injury, and his girlfriend was recently found dead on the bridge, and he's scrolling through his Instagram feed, and he sees a picture of her on her supposedly deactivated profile, and she has this weird oval filter around her, and it's not like her typical aesthetic for pictures.
Yep.
And whenever he tries to go and find it, he can't, to show someone else that he can't. And then his phone starts doing weird things. She becomes his like lock screen and his home wallpaper and all this other weird stuff. And she's eventually trying to help him solve her death, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah. I really liked that one. I liked the play of taking, like you said, like the portrait and turning it into an Instagram account. I like that he got really fixated on, this is an oval portrait in an Instagram account that likes square.
Yeah, Instagram likes squares and circles.
I feel like we all can relate to that.
Whenever I'm setting like social media posts, it's like it wants a square, or else it's the aspect ratio. It gets weird about it. It's like, oh, fine.
I hadn't read this one, A Pose, until this one, and I was surprised at how short it was, especially compared to Lamar's. Mm-hmm. He really like fleshed it out way more than the initial one, which was really fun to read, I thought. Yeah. And I loved the twist ending.
I did too.
Did you see it coming?
Yes.
Yeah? What did you know because you read the Oval Portrait prior, or did you just know because
I just knew because
there were so limited characters?
Yeah, like these weren't. It was fun, like figuring out how they worked. It wasn't like who done it?
Yeah,
it's more like the haunting build up to it.
Although part of it was still like, I don't even understand why you did this, dude. Like his reasoning was not good. It was so random. Like, really? And you felt that was a good enough reason to kill her?
Well, it's because she, like, rejected him.
Yeah.
So, like, we get it, but, like, dude,
and because she was, like, in the locker room looking for a Tariq. But
for her boyfriend.
Right. It was just like, okay.
Yeah, I don't really feel bad for what happened to whatever his name was.
When he got smushed like she was in the frame. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
That was a nice circular thing. I don't remember his name either. I enjoyed it though. It was a fun read.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the story was good.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you want to do Red? Because that one kind of, like, the imagery was really cool because of all the colors, but I was just kind of like, okay, that happened.
But it was so like the Mask of the Red Death, because, like, you know, she is Death basically walking around, much like it is in his, and you walk through all the rooms, and it's all this just opulence and, you know, luxury life.
It reminded me of Ninth House.
It also reminded me of Ninth House, at the party specifically. So I enjoyed that she kind of gave the just end to all those entitled rich people who just didn't care about anyone else. So it was very satisfying. Yeah, that was kind of why I liked it.
Yeah.
And again, it was the rooms, the clock. I mean, everything that you remember from reading it in Edgar Allan Poe, she hit in this book, and I appreciated that.
In this book,
in this short story.
Jody wanted a book.
I always do. So that was cool.
Yeah. What's another one I like? really like murders in... Oh, wait, we need to talk about Lygia before we get to murders.
Okay.
Murders in the Rue Apartheid.
That one was crazy.
Yeah, because, like, I knew how it was going to end, and you kind of see how, like, it's going, how Lygia is going. I don't know why I'm trying to avoid spoilers.
I know, I've been doing it.
I don't know either. But then it just ends. And I couldn't remember finishing the story. I couldn't remember what the ending was, but I was like, I know I read it.
Okay, I'm going to give a little more backdrop on, back on this. Information. Background. Thank you. Backdrop is what I kept ending on. Background. So the story is about a girl and her girlfriend, and she's like imagining this wonderful like senior year and prom, and everything is great except that her friend, Lygia, gets cancer unfortunately and passes away. So another girl comes into town, so she starts dating this other girl, but then she kind of like starts making her look like Lygia. Like she gets her the scent. She like trying to find that perfect citrus scent like Lygia used to wear. It was kind of weird and creepy, like right off the bat. Mm-hmm. Then she started to do the red lipstick like Lygia used to wear. And then like I couldn't tell if the new girl was like, because she saw a picture eventually of Lygia, and then shortly after that she started losing weight and getting like the cheekbones getting more defined like Lygia's.
And then she changed her hair too.
At prom, she dyes her hair.
It has like the red dress that Lygia was gonna wear, and it's really weird.
The girl, I'm like, I don't know if the girl like deliberately set out to do it, or if like our narrator like kind of convinced her to do it. And then you end where she's like, I'm screaming her name. They said as I walked into this room, and
where is here?
Yeah,
or like did Lygia come back and like possess this little girl?
Because the end. Oh, I never actually thought she was possessing.
Well, I think that's how the original one goes. It's more like that. And so I was like, are you being possessed? Like, it's weird. It's like a good way.
Yeah, and it like totally like I seriously ended was like, what just happened? But the end, they tell me I was still screaming your name when they brought me here, as if there's something strange about that. But how can I not scream your name when you finally return to hear it? It was a possession. You're totally right. And then what? She ends up in an asylum?
Or she just like, did she hallucinate the whole thing? And she thinks Lygia's here, but Lygia's still very dead.
Right? I kind of wondered that as well. Like she was just hallucinating, and after the girl was finally like, okay, I guess I'm just going to go with this and try to look like this dead girl.
Like, okay, it's just hair dye.
Right. It was a little bizarre when that happened, though. I was like, oh, dear. Yeah.
It gets really creepy.
So that one was a fun, messed up one in a fun way.
And then she thinks that, like, her new girlfriend's getting cancer the same way Lygia did.
Because she's getting, like, all, like, thin. Yeah.
Or she's out from school for a couple weeks.
Yeah. Why was she out from school? We never know.
Was she never there to begin with?
Oh, that'd be interesting.
I don't know. I'm just making things up.
Oh, interesting. Yes, that one was cool. I liked that one.
And Fall of the Bank of Usher. I did like that one. I like heists. So.
Yeah, and I liked that it was twins. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a fun take. And
well, they're twins in the original, aren't they?
I thought they were just siblings, but they could have.
They're much creepier in the original.
I always just assumed they were sister and brother, but siblings. Yeah, I agree with that. I liked the end of that one too, where they got away with it, I guess. And then did they free the other hackers? Like, what happened to them? Could you tell?
I thought they died.
Oh, in the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably makes more sense, doesn't it? That's sad. Yeah. That would make way more sense. What did you think of the Sweetheart one, though? It was the Telltale Heart.
The Telltale Heart one? I liked it. It was very much like it had been written. It could have been written like the aftermath of 2016, and like there was this meme of like, this is my villain origin story, and then that just like went from there. So I thought it was fun. It reminded me of Villains, of If We Were Villains. Because of like where the murder happens.
I agree with that.
Boathouse.
Yeah. And it's all centered around academics, and
Yeah, so I did like it. That's not my favorite Poe story, to be honest. It's just kind of like...
Yes, that was one I didn't dislike the short story reimagination, but I actually like the Poe version better in that case, which not necessarily was always the case in here.
I only read the Poe one because it's like everyone's like, oh, I had to read this in high school. And I'm like, I never had to read this in high school. I don't know what the story is about.
Oh, how funny. But I remember getting to the end of this one too and being like, oh yeah, when she hears the heart. I remember what I liked about this one. I liked that this is where the title of the book came from. Mm-hmm. No, His Hideous Heart simply wanted what every man wanted from the brash, pushy, outspoken women in their lives. I loved that sentence.
It's a good line.
That was a great end. Yep.
Yeah, that's a good sentence.
So I was excited about that one for that reason. What other ones?
Murders in the Rue Hotel Boracay.
What did you think of that one?
I did like that. Okay, this is one where like it differs, like reading it versus hearing it, because like the audio performance of it is really good. It's really entertaining, because our main character is very like effusive, if I'm using that properly. So it was a lot of fun to listen to, and to listen to like the different slang. I think it's Tagalog slang.
I would have liked to have heard that one. I actually did think, I'm going to go listen to the audio for this one, because reading it was like sort of irritating, just because I'm not the like girl that uses the likes and that. But I think it'd have been fun to hear it.
Yeah, Filipinx LGBTQ plus slang. That's what it is.
Yeah. I did like the glossary.
Yeah, the glossary is really cool to listen to.
Yeah, and the story was fun.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been way better to hear it than
coming.
To read it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one, yeah. Obviously. Sorry. That was like the instant it happened, you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay. But it's fine.
Yeah.
It was still fun to follow.
And I liked her, but I'm still gonna go.
Yeah.
So just don't tell anyone, bye.
That's like, he's cool.
He had a good reason.
Yeah. So it's fine.
They were terrible.
It's true. They kind of earned that one. Yeah, kind of. They did.
And I really liked that he went out of his way to make sure
the cops followed his trail of breadcrumbs.
And that, and that nobody else was going to get implicated because of, I thought, well, that was at least thought out. Considerate. Yeah, right?
A considerate mastermind.
Right? Considerate murderer. But that's okay. Yeah, that one was fun, and I think I'm actually going to have to go listen to it, because I think it would have been enjoyable to hear that.
Mm-hmm. It was. It definitely feels like your friend's telling you some crazy story.
Yeah.
From over their summer.
Yeah, it's totally your friend doing that. Yeah. Not yours specifically, but like someone's friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was good.
What did you think of Changeling, which was the Hop Frog retelling?
I had not read Hop Frog, and I wasn't even sure if I'd heard of it before. That was very dark.
That one was really dark.
It's like the descriptions of like her abuse were really dark.
Yeah. So she's not a dwarf, right? She's just like.
No, she has like, doesn't she have like a hunchback?
Yeah, and then a limp and a walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're dwarfs in the original, is why I was clarifying. Sorry.
I was like, wait, there's changeling. Were there dwarves too? Like,
no, I didn't think that. I think I just wanted to double check, because I didn't think she was. But anyway, so they found her on the road, and like basically puts her into like servitude and abuses her, and everybody they come into contact with is just horrible. They leave her out to like die in the cold the last night.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, so she like disobeyed or something, or dropped something, and they're like,
she like dropped,
or were they just
bottle.
Entertained?
Well, I think it was she dropped the bottle, and the guy that was buying the contraband was like, well, she's no good anymore, and he was like, you're right, time's done, let's put her out. And then a changeling comes and asks her what she would like to do.
Would you like revenge? Not what would you like to do? Would you like revenge?
Yeah. Much better line.
There's a little bit of leading there.
And of course she said, well, not of course, but in this case she said yes.
Yeah.
And so then she joined the changeling. And they got
the fae,
and so they become the unseelie,
or...
and becomes magical to an extent, and then goes out and helps other people in the same situation.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a cool in that way, but it was so dark, like leading to that point.
I like the jumping between time periods.
Yeah,
Like like we see what happens to her, and then we jump to when she's doing that, helping with someone else. So it was kind of not hard, but like you just have to be aware of it when we're listening to it.
Yeah, that there's like many years between.
Yeah. And I don't do fantasy math very well when I'm reading.
Right. And I liked the two of them together. Mm-hmm. They balanced well.
Jester and not Harper. I don't know if we got a name.
I actually don't know if we got a name for her either in that one.
Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to talk about specifically?
I'm glad we read it.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun way to end our scary, spooky month of October.
Dahlia Adler's editing another anthology called This Way Madness Lies, and it's Shakespeare retellings.
I was already in with the title.
Yeah, and I've been like following this book since before I had a cover. It's just like a publishing announcement.
Did you read the intro? I really liked the intro too, where she was like, I wanted to give diverse voices a chance to really do these, and I don't know, the way she words it is way better than the way I just worded it, but it was a really good intro, and I think that they all did a great job. It was nice.
Yeah.
There was a specific line.
How you can maintain so many of a story's themes but find entirely new motivations by centering characters from society's margins, characters who seldom got to be Poe's heroes.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah, I did like that. I did like that too.
So, good fun read. Good way to end the month.
Good way to end the month.
Do we
want to talk about Ninth House a little bit, because I have finally finished it. I finished it like the next day.
Recap it, yeah. What'd you think of the end?
I liked it. You had said it was absolutely crazy bonkers.
I thought it was.
I thought it was bonkers, and that the pacing gets weird at the end.
It speeds up.
No, it hobbles to an end. It just has a lot of big reveals or big things to care about, and it feels like we care about the first one, but then each of the successive ones that we don't have the emotional bandwidth to properly appreciate them anymore, because we're waiting for that first one. So maybe it's also because I saw Beldam coming, because every character in that book had two sides, and Beldam had only this one really good side, and I'm like, this is where's the other shoe? I'm waiting for the other shoe to fall.
I kind of get the hobble, but I thought it was a really speeded up hobble. More of a trot, maybe. I felt like it got a lot faster, but yes, everything kind of came crashing at the end. I think the biggest part for me was oh my gosh, where the heck is Darlington? Why, book 2 is going to be about saving Darlington. It better be. Oh, please don't tell me otherwise.
I think he's gonna come back. I think it might even start off with chapter 1, and it's in Darlington's point of view, or we get a prologue like we did with this one, and we start off with Darlington literally in the belly of the beast.
I was thinking literally in the belly of the beast as well. Yeah. So did you like it? Are you going to read the second?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to read the second one. I did like it a lot.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I know it's fun. It's different. It's way different than the Grishaverse, but I feel, maybe you disagree, but I feel like it's still classic Lee Bardugo writing. It's just more urban.
Yeah. It felt different. I think it's also adult, and it's a different kind of fantasy.
It's a different kind of fantasy. Yeah.
So there's plenty of things that it's okay, that's that, but it was still good to read.
Yeah, I thought it was a really fun read, and like I said, I got to the end and I was like, "What? You're leaving me here?"
I want the pacing
this
to be
is
a bit
not
more
okay.
reliable in the second one.
Oh, I don't think it bothered me as much as it did you. I noticed it, but I didn't obviously get too bothered by it. The first 100 pages are a little slow. I will say that. You kind of have to really just decide you're committing.
Yeah.
And it's worth it. Do it.
It is worth it. It was very good.
Yeah. I wish she had the second one done already. It's fine.
And I did like the Latin in it. It was fun.
And was it not annoying Latin? Then I take it.
It wasn't annoying.
She
Latin.
did
it
well.
Was good Latin, yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
I did like it. I want to read the second one. Yeah, I have there's lots of questions.
It just leaves you kind of hanging.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It leaves you just out in the middle of nowhere. And here we sit.
It reminded me of Mexican Gothic.
Oh, interesting. In which way?
That this power comes from dead women.
Oh. There's that. I was like, there's no mushrooms.
Nope, there are no mushrooms, but there's mushrooms in one of these short stories.
I don't know why I went that way, but yes. Yes, I was laughing when we hit that part. There was a few other things. I was like, oh, that's so funny. We're so on the same themes.
I mean, that's like where it's dark academia. It's like that's where it's going to come from.
Mushrooms.
But yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, what are we reading next week?
Next week?
We're not going to do the whole month discussion yet.
Well, we're still staying spooky, I guess.
Yeah, why not?
We're reading The Changeling by Victor Lavelle. And it's like a dark fantasy horror fairy tale.
Mm-hmm.
Catabasis, is that the word I used? It's like a journey to the underworld.
Yeah, see, I'm curious what it's going to be, because when you read the back, I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
This can go a couple ways. But when I read the back, it doesn't sound that spooky, even though I know you're, like, didn't he win awards for being
I think so.
like on like a horror list or something? Because I don't know. I remember reading the back and being like, I don't understand where the horror is coming into, but I know he's on a horror list for this.
Yeah, I've seen this shelved with horror, and like it has a horror tag, and like the truths are kind of frightening. I don't know.
This really is wonderful.
Well, it gives me like underworld vibes with the trees, like it's the fields of asphodel or whatever.
Oh, okay. Maybe it was just fantasy. The winner of the American Book Award, the Locus Award. Oh, the Locus Award for Best Horror Novel. I'm like, there was something for horror, because I was like...
You didn't make it up.
No, but I remember reading the back and being like, I don't get it. So we'll see. Tune in next week and find out how the horror is involved in The Changeling.
And we'll have thoughts again.
We always have thoughts.
Yes.
All right. Well, we will see you all next week then. All right. Bye.